Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Budweiser Shootout for 2025 from the Daytona Superspeedway. And this is a much different world than you're probably used to for this, and we'll cover that during the race. But let's go ahead and get started. It will be 80 laps, however, with the way it should work out, green flag for most of it. Let's take a look at our starting lineup. We do have on pole Alex Palou, drew the pole sitter spot. Next to him is Denny Hamlin. Tyler Reddick driving for Michael Waltrip. Mind you, I should do that. So it's Alex Palou in the Team Penske Mercedes. Denny Hamlin driving the number 11 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota Camry. Tyler Reddick driving the number 00 Michael Waltrip BMW. The 31 is Joseph Newgarden. Yep, Joseph Newgarden driving the 31 Earnhardt Childress Racing Chevy Malibu. The 29 is Alexander Rossi in the Andretti Global Subaru. The number 18 is Joey Logano in the Pennzoil Toyota Camry for Joe Gibbs Racing. The next row sees two Hendrick Motorsports Cadillacs in William Byron in the 5 and Christopher Bell in the 24. Kyle Busch driving the Roush Fenway Keselowski Mustang. To his outside is the Earnhardt Childress Racing Chevy of Shane Van Gisbergen. In the next row is Chase Briscoe in the number 19 Dodge for Evernham Motorsports. Next to him is Scott McLaughlin in the Hendrick Motorsports Cadillac. The number 26 is Marco Andretti's Gamebridge Subaru for Andretti Global. The number 9 is Chase Elliott, driving for Evernham Motorsports, just like his dad did back in the day. And he picks up the Napa sponsorship for the Dodge. The number 43 Richard Petty Enterprises machine is a Nissan, and it's Kyle Larson. In the number 20 Home Depot Toyota Camry is Ryan Blaney for Joe Gibbs Racing. The number 22 belongs to Will Power, driving for Team Penske and Mercedes. And the 48 is Harrison Burton, managed to secure a pole last year in this alternate universe, driving for Hendrick Motorsports and Hard Rock Bet Cadillac. The number 16 is the Kroger Ford Mustang of Roush Fenway Keselowski, driven by Ross Chastain. And last but not least, picking up a pole at Sonoma last year, is what we're going to go with, is Austin Cindric in the Team Penske Mercedes. So you kind of see there through the field, well, at least the front couple, what we have going on there. We'll advance this. And they are obviously rolling at this point. So throughout tonight's race, I will I'm going to set this up real quick. Okay. Throughout tonight's race, as the pace car drops off and we get ready for the first racing action of 2025, but I will give you kind of the history of this alternate timeline, right? And this alternate timeline has two significant changes that changed a lot of history. Palou takes the lead, and we're kind of just going to let the race itself run in the background, and as it runs, we'll kind of cover everything. So 2001 is obviously the big changes where it happens, right? This is the key jumping off point where everything changed, and we get this universe that occurs as we know it now. In 2001, Dodge delays its return. They were originally planning for a 2001 return. However, they do not make the change or the shift into 2001. Evernham wasn't quite ready, so Ray stays at Hendrick for 2001, and the Dodges will return in 2002. Also, Dale Sr. does not pass. Now, the gist of this, Ray Evernham stays with Jeff. they win their 4th championship. And by Evernham staying put at Hendrick Motorsports, Robbie Loomis becomes Jimmy Johnson's crew chief in his few Cup starts. And they kind of hit it off, and they become the set duo when Jimmy enters the team in 2002. That leads Chad Knaus to becoming Jeff Gordon's crew chief. And that partnership would bear a lot of fruit. Just going to go ahead and say it now. However, 2001 was a dominant season once, as it was in real life for Jeff Gordon, continuing at least that falling in place. There will be some continuity between real life and this alternate timeline, if you will. Jeff Gordon winning the 2001 championship is one of those that is his, of course, 4th championship. Everything remains kind of the core as it was. Obviously, Dodge isn't there yet. However, they will make their return very shortly. 2002, Dodge officially makes its return, fielding for the star Bill Elliott, and it is well, the title run for Pontiac. Tony Stewart does actually win the 2002 title, just like he did in real life, so that doesn't change. 2003, this is the final pre-chase format. The chase would still exist in this world. Matt Kenseth wins the title based on consistency. Only one win, and obviously that was what kind of led to the chase becoming a factor. Pontiac loses Gibbs, they lose a couple others, and they're kind of a back marker in 03, and they're basically on the way out. 2004 sees Kurt Busch edge out a tight playoff under the new format. So again, reality kind of settles in, and we get this version of events, if you will. Jeff Gordon finishes 2nd in the season, with the Knaus pairing starting to show promise. 2005 would see Dale Earnhardt Jr. pick up a championship, and Pontiac officially makes its exit from the sport. At middle of the season, Tony Stewart kind of announces that there could be a shift in plans of where he'll be driving in the near future. But it is Dale Jr. who wins the 2005 championship in that regard. 2006 is a great year, and it sees Jeff Gordon net his 5th career Cup championship behind Chad Knaus, his genius. Not much changing in our shootout race. Still a great race going on. 2007 sees the arrival of Toyota. Joe Gibbs Racing transitions to Toyota almost immediately, and as such, Tony Stewart is brought into Hendrick Motorsports to replace Brian Vickers in the 25 car ahead of schedule. And yeah, it's just kind of one of those moments end up essentially. But it is Jimmy Johnson who wins the 2007 Cup Championship, his first Cup Championship. In 2008, Jeff earns his 6th career title, edges closer to Petty and Earnhardt's record of 7. Hendrick remains the standard bearer for Chevy, but Joe Gibbs emerges as a top Toyota threat. 2009, and Dodge finally makes the statement they've been hoping for. Casey Kane and Evernham Motorsports dominate the mile-and-a-halfs, and they run to the championship with ease. Casey Kane, your breakout champion 2009. as it was. 2010 would see Jeff Gordon join the exclusive club of 7-time champions, matching Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt Sr. The debate rages at that point: is Gordon now the greatest ever? Does he need an 8th to stand alone? Many would argue that he is at that point, doing it in an era that's so much more difficult. However, the diversity grows in the sport, and 2 new manufacturers announced entry for 2011 in NASCAR: Mercedes and BMW. Mercedes steals away Team Penske from Dodge, who they had been running for quite a while. They steal that away, and also Kyle Busch had left Hendrick Motorsports, replaced by Brad Keselowski in the 5 at the time. Kyle went to Penske. That's actually where Kyle was. He's teamed with his brother at Penske. And as it would be in 2011, Kyle Busch would nab his first career title behind the German manufacturer. The Mercedes came in and were immediately dominant. We've seen it in other sports where teams can come in and be immediately on the top of their game, and we saw it with the Mercedes when they entered in 2011. Also, and I did forget this, 2008 opened up another can of worms. The tire debacle that occurred at Indianapolis opened up NASCAR to kind of ensure that hopefully they were getting the best tire week in and week out. As such, they brought in Hoosier, right? So Hoosier became the secondary tire, and this would lead to its own spiraling effect that we don't get now. In 2011, Pirelli joined as well alongside the Mercedes, and I believe it was Toyo or Continental. Might have been Continental that joined alongside. Oh no, it was Toyo, because the Michael Waltrip cars that joined first. Michael Waltrip moved to BMW. 2012 would see Michael Waltrip Racing actually claim a championship with their BMWs, behind the superb performance of Clint Bowyer in his Cinderella story. In 2013, Kyle Busch doubles up, and then a new manufacturer joined 2 new teams. Well, 1 new team and an old team. Chip Ganassi switches to Acura, along with the new Andretti Autosport at the time. Andretti enters with Acura as well. At this point in time, mistakes have been made essentially by IndyCar in this universe, and the sport is dying. IndyCar in itself is dying in this world. It's something that was a shame to see, but NASCAR on the other hand, because of Senior, who at this point is retired. Senior retired from full-time driving in 2006. He would be team owner. However, 2013 would be his last year as a singular team owner. Kyle Busch also wins his second for Mercedes. They're the team's second in 3 years, so clearly the Mercedes were on track when they joined, and you could see that they are still dominant as everybody's trying to chase down below. We're trying a different package for this race. I'm just kind of trying something out. See if we can get it work before the 500. 2014, DEI and Richard Childress merge into Earnhardt Childress Racing, and as such, whatever was behind that sees the 8 car go to championship victory lane for his second time, as Dale Jr. becomes champion again. Also at this time, Keselowski had moved on. Or no, actually at this point, I think Stewart moved on, taking a back step is what it was. And also surviving a tragic crash that like in the real world. In this alternate universe, is Dan Weldon has made his way to NASCAR, and he is at that point driving the 25 for Hendrick Motorsports. 2015, Dan Weldon goes to victory lane, or has the triumph, essentially. He becomes champion for Hendrick Motorsports. So he picks up his championship. And then Kevin Harvick in 2016 is able to notch his lone championship with you and end up winning. Clinches with Dodge, driving the number 19 alongside Casey Kane, who was still driving at this point. For the Evernham Motorsports team. 2017 would see a host of rookies, including Chase Elliott. However, it was the first ever playoffs and a historic run that would see Jeff Gordon crowned as the unanimous GOAT with 8 career championships. He wins the first ever playoff. Just an absolute masterclass. Actually had a incredible moment as he announced his retirement at the beginning of the year. The finale of the season had already been planned, but he did get to take a lap around Homestead, which is the finale, alongside, actually basically leading Richard Petty and Dale Sr. Around the track. It's supposedly a very touching moment as Chase Elliott blows the motor, and we're going to go ahead and throw the caution there. I failed on that from the get-go, but we'll fix it down. So we've gotten to our points, and we are going to call that a break. We're not going to give them a little 2-lap shootout and then have another break. So they will have their break here as they would have in real life. Back when it was a 75-lap race. So a shame there. We saw whatever it was that happened with Chase. Looks like he blew a piston. So we'll carry on. 2 new manufacturers enter for 2018, Nissan and Kia. And Dan Weldon picks up his 2nd career championship driving for Hendrick Motorsports. Weldon outduels the rising contenders as Petty Enterprises switches to Nissan at this point, and AJ Foyt Racing joins with Kia. It was actually a really good year for the Nissans as Kyle Larson took the car all the way to the championship. Chase Elliott would battle as well, but obviously Weldon takes the title. 2019 sees Chase Elliott don the championship at Evernham in the number 9 Dodge. And Nissan and Kia continue to build their programs. 2020 is Kyle Larson dominance for Nissan, giving Petty Enterprises their first title since Richard Petty won one back in the 80s. Also, 2020 sees the entry of a new manufacturer, what many believe at this point to be the last manufacturer to enter the sport, or what would be. Subaru enters, luring Andretti Autosport away from Acura. So Andretti moved to Subaru. That was their point for this, and they picked up Dunlop as their tire supplier as well. And I'll get to the tires too towards the end. I'll cover all those. 2021, Dale Earnhardt Jr. announces his retirement prior to the season. Jr. has a struggle of a season. It really shows, one of those kind of end of career moments. However, he makes the playoffs, and he just kind of squeezes his way through. He sneaks in through the round of 16 to the round of 12. He sneaks through the round of 12 to the round of 8. And at the last gasp, Junior puts on a masterclass and wins another grandfather clock, heading to Homestead, at which point he would hold off all challengers for his third and final championship in his farewell race. Echoing what Jeff did in his final race, Junior would also win the championship as he left the sport, and certainly went out on a high note, and much higher career than any would have expected. Now, headed into 2022 at this point, the 24 car and the 43 at this point tied for the most championships by a singular car number at this point. Right? Jeff Gordon took 7 or 8 himself. Richard Petty took 7. Kyle Larson's picked up 1 for the 43 car. However, in 2022, driving the number 24 car, it's Christopher Bell who claims the first Cup title. Bell was tapped immediately as Jeff's successor. Even pulled up what many people thought a little early. However, when he was pulled up following Jeff's retirement, his very first year he would win the Coca-Cola 600, and then he'd follow it up by winning the Indianapolis 500, because also included in this that I have completely overshadowed, in 2017, actually, let me go back further. In 2014, IndyCar announced that 2014 would be the final season of IndyCar. That the sport itself that everybody had known would go away. The sanctioning body would still put on the Indy 500 for the next 2 years, and then they would look for some other way of doing the event. That was to ensure that the 100th running was run as an open wheel event, as many believed it should have been. And it was. However, it was about late 2016, after the 100th running of the Indy 500, when the announcement came that the Speedway and NASCAR had entered into an agreement that the final Sunday of the month of May, the final Sunday before Memorial Day, would belong to NASCAR and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Indy 500. NASCAR then made the shift to move the Coca-Cola 600, wanting it to remain on a holiday of sorts that held nationalistic pride. So the Coke 600 moved to the 4th of July, and the July 4th Daytona race became the last race before the chase, which that one actually mirrors real life, but still. So that is where we're at this point, 2017. Indianapolis, the first, or 2018 at that point would have been the second Indy 500. Christopher Bell won that, and then he would win the Coke 600. So I had a hell of a time there. I've forgotten to gather who all the Indy 500 winners were. But we will, of course, have a new one this year. I'll figure it out. But it was 2022 that Christopher Bell would emerge as your champion. However, there was some uncertainty, right? Chevy was retiring the Camaro. Nobody knew what they were going to do. Nobody knew what was going to happen, what the new look would be for Chevrolet, if there would be a new look for Chevrolet. And Chevy was very mum on it. They didn't talk about it. So 2023 comes along, and Marco Andretti and Subaru really kind of put on the prowess of what Andretti Autosport could do. And that Subaru went to the victory lane at Homestead, as well as Andretti taking the Daytona 500 and the Indy 500. So an incredible season for Marco as he took the Cup Series championship. In 2024, Christopher Bell would grab his second champion. So he is coming in as your defending champion of the sport in that number 24 Goodwrench Cadillac, which, by the way, Goodwrench never left the sport. However, they did leave Richard Childress after Dale's retirement. They looked elsewhere. They caught on with Tony for quite a while, and that's how they ended up at Hendrick Motorsports. And they really liked when Christopher Bell was coming up, so they brought on Christopher Bell. So in 2024, Christopher Bell wins his second championship. At the time, it is believed that it is Chevy's last season, because in August of 2024, Chevy announces, or General Motors announces, that Cadillac will be the prevailing brand for NASCAR, for the automotive giant. So Chevy announces that it's leaving, right? This is its final year. Bell consistently runs his way to the championship and wins in what everybody believes is Chevy's final season. However, in late November, Chevrolet makes a shocking announcement, going against what the GM board of directors wanted, and Chevrolet would return to NASCAR. Now, Hendrick had already put all their eggs into the basket of the Cadillac and have agreed to run the Cadillac. They were fine with it. Earnhardt Childress became the flagship for Chevrolet, as the Malibu was named the new manufacturer from the Bowtie brand. So that brings that back in, and Hendrick, already, like I said, fully invested, decided to run the Cadillacs anyway. But it wasn't just this new addition, right? Now you've added Cadillac. They're not replacing Chevy anymore at this point. They became the addition, as Scott McLaughlin leads the way now in ARBS for said Cadillacs. But it wasn't just that, right? Because Dodge Chrysler, the company behind the Dodges, had just merged with a very large group from Europe and formed Stellantis. Now, part of Stellantis is the Peugeot Corporation. As such, Peugeot, who at this point is making their decision that they want to return to America, to sell cars in America, have decided that they will field a 3-car team in NASCAR, and they've teamed up with Pitbull, and I completely blank on his name right now. But anyway, they formed Trackhouse Racing. So 2024 in this universe is the first year for Trackhouse Racing, but they will exist. Driving Peugeots, of all cars. It's actually really neat tie-in, and they actually stole Michelin away from, I think it's the Rahal Letterman Lanigan BMWs that were running it previously. And they brought in Continental because of that. Michelin is now with Peugeot, French on French at that point. And also at this point, the tire wars have become so heated. NASCAR has rules in place for the safety of what they can and can't do to the tires in terms of gaining an advantage, right? Safety outweighs everything. They don't want anybody getting hurt. And Dale's accident in 2001, where he didn't pass away, but he did have an accident. He missed, in this universe, he missed the first quarter of the season due to the accident. And it really brought on a whole host of changes. Now, what it didn't bring on was lower horsepower. These cars, as they'll run throughout the season, will run with the horsepower that you would have seen in 2009 or such. And we'll see how it plays out throughout the season, but that's going to be basically how it'll roll. However, they do feature, obviously, the reduced horsepower here at super speedways. Also, Atlanta has not become a super speedway. It's the old Atlanta. Texas isn't even on the schedule. Instead, we revived the Texas World Speedway because certain things can't be avoided, in the politics of Southern California have seen us go away from California after the last few years. As such, we resurrected the Texas World Speedway, which is a very similar racetrack. It's actually bigger it's more banked than Michigan. It's going to be a really fun race. It's in the playoffs. I can't wait to get to it. It's going to be fun. I've done a lot of testing. There's a lot of other fun surprises that you'll see throughout the season with the schedule and the calendar, and I'm excited. As for what we can look for, I'm going to try and find Right now I'm going to try and find our list of drivers and their sponsors. So let's take a look at what we have. We'll go team by team, and I don't have any graphics to throw up or anything for it. And I'm actually going to step away for a second. Like I said, this race is happening. It's not really one that I'm quite as interested in broadcasting lap by lap like I will be for the 500. But this one is just kind of here, and we're getting through it. We're having fun with it. This kind of provided me, by doing the shootout, it provided me this ability to go through the history and everything. Alright, so as they run and reach about the halfway point in this Budweiser shootout, this is, of course, the top 20 cars, or not top 20 cars, it's the 20 cars that make up the field. Some are here based on getting a pole from last season. A few are here just because they're previous champions of the sport. But overall, that's what your grouping is. As for the lineups for the 2025 season, we're gonna go down the list. I'm gonna give you everybody who's driving where and what they're driving. I will not give you their sponsors. I thought I was going to, but I'm not going to on that. I might try. If I can remember them. I'll tell you them if I can remember. How about that? So, starting off, we have the Earnhardt Childress Racing Team. They will be driving Chevrolet Malibus. Colton Herta will be driving the #1 Office Depot Malibu. Austin Dillon will be driving the #3 Bass Pro Shops Malibu. Shane Van Gisbergen, who is in this race all by himself, will be driving the #8 Budweiser, or not Budweiser, #8 Red Bull Chevy Malibu. And the #31 Budweiser Chevy Malibu belongs to Joseph Newgard. The Hendrick Motorsports team sees William Byron in the #5 Auto Nation Cadillac CT5 Blackwing. I'm just gonna probably call them the Blackwings. Christopher Bell in the GM Goodrich Blackwing. We have Scotty McLaughlin out leading the race currently in the Gulf Monster Energy Blackwing. And Harrison Burton, wherever he may be, I believe he's at the back of this pack. He is driving the Hard Rock Bet Blackwing. The Dodges as we've seen, I believe both are actually out of this race. Yes, both are out. The two that were in this race. So Chase Elliott driving the Napa number 9 Napa Charger. Chris Buescher will drive the number 10 Mobile 1 Charger. And it is Chase Briscoe driving the number 19 Mopar Dodge Charger. Team Penske. You can see Austin Cindric here in the number 2 Menards Mercedes. I don't remember which Mercedes it is. Also in this race is the number 12 Will Power Verizon Wireless Mercedes. And then we do have Alex Palou also in this event driving the Tide Ride, the number 22 Tide Pods Mercedes. Not featured in this race, but still driving for the team. In the number 77 Sunoco Mercedes for the season will be Elio Castroneves. In the race here, he's the number 43 of Kyle Larson, driving the SCP Nissan Sentra. The number 44 DHL Sentra will be driven by Corey Heim. And the number 45 Stanley Nissan Sentra will be driven by Josh Berry. Corey Heim is a rookie this year, as is Colton Herta. Colton Herta will be viewed as rookie this season. That's why they're not in this race, for sure. Andretti Autosport sees Marco Andretti in the number 26 Gamebridge Subaru WRX. In the number 27 Mellow Yellow is what it is. Actually, it's the 28, not the 27. I do apologize that. He'll be driving the 28. Mellow Yellow Subaru is rookie for this season. He's obviously been racing elsewhere, but he's a NASCAR rookie is what we call it. Patricio Award. Talented driver. He'll be driving the number 28 Subaru. And the number 29 Aero Subaru, Aero Electronic Subaru, is driven by Alexander Rossi. In this race, representing Michael Waltrip Racing somewhere in this field, is the old 00 of Tyler Reddick and the DoorDash. And driving the number 56 UPS sponsored BMW for Michael Waltrip Racing will be Noah Gragson. None of the AJ Foyt racing cars made the shootout. And none of them are rookies. However, it is Daniel Suarez who will be driving the number 4 Lowe's Kia. The number 14 Chase Banks Kia will be driven by Ryan Hunter-Ray. And the number 41 McDonald's Kia driven by Bubba Wallace. Then we get to a team that does have drivers in this field. Starting with the FedEx Toyota Camry is Denny Hamlin. FedEx not leaving the sport. Basically, the sport at this point is so big that sponsors are clamoring to get in. Driving the number 18 Pennzoil Camry is Joey Logano. Also in this field somewhere. If I can find him. Yes. Driving the number 20 Home Depot Toyota Camry is Ryan Blaney. And then rookie Ty Gibbs will drive the number 54 Yahoo car. So we will see how he does his rookie season. The Roush Fenway cars, 2 of them are in this race. This number 6 GoDaddy Black Scheme is driven by Kyle Busch, Ford Mustang. And then the number 16 Kroger Mustang is driven by Ross Chastain. The number 17 GoDaddy Teal car, so it will basically be the same exact as Kyle Busch's, it's just flipped. Be driven by Brad Keselowski, he's not in this race. And the number 99 711 Ford Mustang will be driven by Tony Kanaan. Very respectable driver. Now, surprisingly, none of the Acuras made this field, which is actually accurate because 2 of them are rookies for the season. One, however, is, you would think it would have made it, but Scott Dixon will drive the number 40 PNC Acura for Chip Ganassi Racing. Kaz Gralla will be driving the number 39 Rockstar Acura for Chip Ganassi Racing, and Linus Lundqvist will drive the number 71 Allstate Acura for Chip Ganassi Racing. And these Gralla and Lundqvist will be rookies this year. The Rahal Letterman Lanigan squad did not grab a pole last year. We'll see if they can make that change this year. However, it is number 15 in the number 15 Pizza Hut BMW will be Graham Rahal, and the number 30 KFC BMW will be Kamui Kobayashi. So expect good things out of that. And then finally, rounding out the field, the 12th manufacturer, the 13th racing team, is the Trackhouse Racing Peugeots. The number 7 will be driven by Alex Bowman. Bowman, who lost a ride and ended up back in the lower series, will be back this year, driving the DeWalt Peugeot for Trackhouse. The number 87 Target Peugeot will be driven by rookie sensation Connor Zilic. And we'll see how he plays out this year, driving that Peugeot. And the number 91 will be a rookie to NASCAR, but obviously not a rookie overall. In the number 91 WeatherTech Peugeot will be James Hinchcliffe. The mayor of Hinchtown is back, and we will head to Toronto for a street race at some point. So that'll be interesting. There's a lot of fun races that will occur. As for the tires, I'm going to flip off of the main for a second so I could get you guys the tires. There you go. So, the tire choices, or the tire suppliers. Each team has its own tire supplier. So there are 13 different tire suppliers at this time. That means that everybody's got a different tire. Now, Goodyear is still here, right? Goodyear hasn't gone away. They are still on one of the bigger teams. They're the tire supplier for Earnhardt Childress Racing, which has become a very good and popular team, and a very talented team. Although some question Austin Dillon in that team. But they are running good years. The Hendrick Motorsports team has found their way to Falcons. They very much like the quality that Falcon provided, the grip and the ability they provide. They very much enjoy, and it seems to be working, at least here at the Super Speedway at Daytona, as Scott McLaughlin has led a good portion of this since break. The Evernham Motorsports Dodges will feature Hoosier tires. So if you're a fan of Hoosiers, there you go. That'll be your team. Team Penske is caught on with Pirelli. I believe they actually brought Pirelli into the sport back in the day. Petty Enterprises has teamed up with Yokohama. The Andretti Global Subarus now are teamed up with Dunlop. Michael Waltrip Racing has the blue-walled Toyo tires, and you'll notice that on their cars. You'll notice the blue for their tires as it goes around. The AJ Foyt Racing Kias will have Hankooks. The South Korean-based tire will team with the South Korean car. And that'll be another one. You'll see the orange for them. The Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas have Bridgestone tires. The Roush Fenway Racing Fords will have BF Goodrich tires, so American made for them. The Ganassi Racing will have Firestones. Now, Firestone is owned by Bridgestone. Bridgestone is a Japanese company. They teamed up with Ganassi in the Acura, which is an American-made car, essentially, the Acura is, owned by a Japanese company. So it just kind of worked out well for that. Rahal Letterman Lanigan will feature the Continental tires, a German tire for a German manufacturer. And the Peugeots, the Trackhouse Racing Peugeots, will feature Michelins. So I'm going to do that. There we go. As we are now inside of 30 to go. Actually see if I can. You can kind of see it on Bridgestone or on cameras. So you can see what I mean by the blue walls. Dunlops for the ready. Dunlops have a little bit of red to them. They have a little bit of red to them as well. We have pit stops. Wrong one. So Joey Logano coming in for fresh Bridgestones. There you can see him. You see the little differences. The Dunlops have the actual Dunlop logo is red on them. There's the Bridgestones. Your Goodyears, and he's got special rims as well. And there's your Pirellis. And here comes pretty much the rest of the field coming to pit road. William Byron with a hell of a job getting onto pit road. We'll stay focused on the Falcon tires here. Falcons get a kind of a neat look with theirs. There's the Dunlops, the Yokos, the Bridgestones, the BF Goodriches. There's your Toyos, see the blue. All these neat little tire combinations, and here we go. The question now, of course, is where, as they come out 3 wide. So there's Shane. Shane was obviously a lap down as they were looking for Logano. Who is now coming through. Where will he end up in relation to Scott McLaughlin? McLaughlin with Kyle Larson on his back bumper. Actually gets out way far ahead. Now it's It's a 2-horse race in the Bud Shootout. As Larson cuts it close to the 48 of Harrison Burton. Burton, who may have actually benefited from that. I don't know that he would have been this far up in the field, but now he is. Now, obviously, he's going a lot slower than the ones around him, but this could cycle out to a top 6 for him at this point. We'll have to wait and see as Larson looks to the inside of McLaughlin. They're going to go side by side around the track. It's now Kyle Larson in his Nissan Sentra that leads the way. How will this play out? McLaughlin getting a run. Will he have anything for him? You can see the speeds. We're doing decent speeds, but, you know, not overly ridiculous. This is a test. This is actually using just the regular Speedway package for 2023. So I think it's 550 horsepower. Just because I've noticed with these cars, they get bogged down if I use the super speedway physics sometimes. And I really don't want to see them do that. So we'll have to wait and see what we get out of it. So overall, this is kind of where we're at, potentially for the 500. I would rather not do it this way. I'm going to do some more testing, some other physics sets, some other super speedway physics sets, and see what we come up with. And hopefully I can find something that'll put on really good racing and not basically put them into a death spiral coming out of pit road. Because I'll put it this way, sometimes I have seen them with some of the super speedway sets. They do not get above 40 miles an hour until basically right there, the middle of turns 1 and 2 on the apron. Now the battle is on. Scott McLaughlin losing the lead, now losing second. Here comes Will Power in his Mercedes. We have 2 of the Toyotas for Joe Gibbs. Power now looking, can he get to the inside of Larson? Sorry, mine went blank there. As they come to 20 to go. Power goes to the inside. He takes the lead. McLaughlin to the inside of his teammate further back. You can see the 2 Gibbs cars. Looking for their way potentially past Will Power. So 2 sets of teammates, and then Power and Larson. And we'll see if the teammates will work together to get the job done. As now Logano looks to the inside of Power. Nobody in the front group can hold the lead. And nobody wants to go with Power either. Logano will take the lead. Will his teammate Ryan Blaney look to get around him? Will Blaney go with him? Blaney will look to go to the inside. The Hendrick teammates will go with him. And as I say that, the secondary Hendrick car, Harrison Burton, actually goes with Logano. Now McLaughlin looking to retake the lead back. But he jumps up. He gives the position away. This is now a great spot for Kyle Larson. However, McLaughlin is still clear at the moment. If he comes down, he can if he wants. And he's going to ride in the draft of Ryan Blaney. Blaney now trying to run away with it. Blaney in the Home Depot 20. Remember, infamous with Tony Stewart and eventually Joey Logano, or not Joey Logano, actually. Logano has been in the 18 pretty much in this universe. I forgot who was tabbed to replace Tony. I think Vickers was for a year or two in the number 20. I think that's what it was. I think they basically swapped rides at the time. But it is Larson around McLaughlin. Now Power to the inside of McLaughlin. McLaughlin going to the back of the group. Larson now trying to close on Blaney. Blaney trying to run away with it. We'll see what's going on in the rest of the field. A 3-car pack and a slightly larger pack behind them. The 22 has just absolutely lost the plot and all by himself now. As Larson gets around Blaney. Larson goes back to the point. Now Will Power looks to his inside. Power not satisfied running second. Wrenching ever closer to the end of the Bud shootout. Nothing on the line here, just bragging rights at this point between these 20 drivers, and at this point it's come down to, well, 6. The top 6 are separated by less than a second. Now it looks like Logano might look to the inside of Burton. Burton's able to hold him off. Burton now potentially thinking about his move. Is he set up to get around Will Power? Can he do it? Will he jump out of line and look to the inside? He does not. He rides right behind Will Power in that Mercedes. They come off of 3 and 4, and Logano looks to the inside. He's got nothing there yet. They run through to 1 and 2. Does Harrison Burton pull out a line? He does. He looks to the inside of Will Power. Will Power out of the outside. Logano deciding to go with Power. No, he's going to look in between both of them maybe. Power still to the outside. Harrison Burton to the inside. Logano with him. Blaney with him. Larson as they take the line with only a handful of laps to go. My apologies. I had to step away for a second. So we come back with 7 to go. Yeah, 7 to go. They have, as you can see, caught Pelot. Pelot now involved in this battle, but obviously a lap down. But still will make things interesting because of it. It is a side-by-side show. Harrison Burton and his teammate versus Will Power and the Pennzoil, or not the Penske, sorry, so used to that. The Pennzoil Joe Gibbs racing machine. Funny enough, Logano being followed by the 22. So the battle rages with 6 to go. They come to line for 5 more this time from the Daytona Superspeedway. It's Will Power who takes the lead, but Logano quickly feels the inside as soon as Power jumps up. Logano now looking for the lead. 5 laps to go. Larson will drop to the inside. Who will win the Budweiser shootout? Power now has the help from Harrison Burton on the outside. Power with a great shove is able to clear Logano. The two Hendrick Cadillacs working very well together on the outside line. But they're all alone. They don't have any help anymore. Now Logano jumps up. And he'll come back down. They run kind of that middle lane. Who's got anything for Will Power? Blaney to the inside of Pelot. At least he tries to. Pelot trying to help his teammate out by playing a spoiler and getting involved in a race that means nothing. And that's what he's going to do as he moves Logano to the high side. As they come to 3 to go, Pelot helping out Will Power, putting Logano in a bad position. But now it's Logano's teammate, Ryan Blaney, who looks to the inside of Pelot. Is he going to get help from Kyle Larson? They're going to see 2 to go this time. Will Power now out well in front. He's got help. He's got drafting help from his teammate, who's a lap down, blocking off for him. But it's now Ryan Blaney to the inside of Pelot. Blaney secures his position. He gets to the inside of Pelot. Blaney will now have a potential gas at Will Power. Blaney now getting help from Larson. Larson trying to push him along to get past Pelot. They're going to do so. The both of them are going to blow past Pelot. They're going to bring Harrison Burton with them. Now everybody in with a shot here as they come to take the white flag. 1 lap to go here at the Budweiser shootout. Blaney looking to set something up for one final move. He's going to look to the inside. And with him goes Kyle Larson. Harrison Burton kind of leaving a gap. Logano trying to fill it. Logano is going to fill it. Burton's with Power. It's Power versus Blaney and Larson. Blaney holding steady. Larson now with the chance to potentially drive it up the inside. He's not going to get close. Or will he? Will he have a shot at this off of turn 4? Blaney coming to the line. Your 2025 Budweiser Shootout champion is Ryan Blaney. And I will get these camera controls down eventually. It is Ryan Blaney who takes the first checkered flag of the season for Joe Gibbs Racing in the number Home Depot 20 Toyota Camry. Hoping that that is a good sign for them this year. They're excited. I think the bigger excitement is got to be the Hendrick Motorsports Camp of 48. They've struggled quite a bit the past couple years, past 2 years with Harrison. This is a contract season for Harrison, and certainly if you are that group, you are excited to see him show some improvement here. So we'll see how it plays out and what we get out of the future. But this race is in the books, and we will see you next week for this series. This series will run weekly on Fridays. This is what the plan is, and then I'm hoping Wednesdays to do the 2001. That's kind of the plan there. Although the 2001 may just kind of come as it comes. You know, we may handle that in bunches. So let's click that. There we go. That's it. So there's your finishing order and there's the finale. Thanks for joining us.